Hey guys, what's going on? Ken Rayder here for Rayder Sports. Wait, you know what? Cut the intro. We don't need it. I'm back here by popular demand. You guys asked me about Bryce Harper, and I feel like anybody who has been talking about sports has to weigh in on the fact that when a man becomes the richest player in any team sport in North America, this has to be it has to be talked about. There has to be somebody who is going to give you an honest opinion, and I think I want everybody's opinion. Because I'm actually at quite a loss to figure out what the hell's going on. Because at first, I hated this entire process. Let me say that. From Machado to Arenado getting his extension, I think that was too much at, 200 or 285, whatever he got. And then Bryce Harper. I knew Bryce Harper was waiting for Manny Machado to get his deal. Machado got 10 years, $300 million. Once we threw $300 million into it, we knew that was the starting salary. We knew that all along. I thought if he wanted to be a Philly, he would have done that by the winter meetings, and this would have all been over. But no, he was waiting. He was stalling. He was waiting to see what Machado got, and then okay, Machado got 300. Giancarlo Stanton, he's got 325. 326 was going to be the starting price. Okay, that's just the way it was going to be, because my understanding of how Bryce Harper is the fact that he played AA baseball literally 2 miles from where I'm sitting right now. And the horror stories that came out of that clubhouse for the month and a half or so that he was there are absolutely shocking. I run into former players around here all the time. People who have worked for the Senators, not only people who have worked for the Senators, but people who have played for the Senators. And, are just around this area. I run into them at bowling alleys, bars, what have you. And some of the stories that just from however a man in a month and a half leaves such a legacy is amazing. But I will say this: he's one of 3 people who have ever gotten asses into those stands. Bryce Harper, Steven Strasburg, and Tim Tebow. Okay, so yes, the man is blockbuster. He got $330 million from the Phillies. Let's understand. So, who won? Let's understand what we're dealing with here. Okay, we are dealing with a man who is absolutely blockbuster. Don't get me wrong. He fills stands. His jerseys in Philadelphia are going to sell quicker than anything we've ever seen. I mean, the Phillies fans are running around right now like they just won the World Series and their hair's on fire. Because they won the sweepstakes. Well, what did the Phillies really get out of this? Are we still looking at the 42 home runs? Are we still looking at the 319 batting average? Or are we going to take what he did in 2018 and on a contract year fall 70 points below his batting average? In 2017, he went 319. In 2018, he went 249. That's less than 1 out of 4. And usually you get 4 plate appearances on average. And if you're only hitting 1 out of 4, or lower than 1 out of 4, that means there are some games you're going hitless. On average. So in my opinion, what did the Phillies get? Well, one, good news for the Phillies. Their marketing, their season tickets are going to go through the roof. If you're a Phillies fan, get them now before that price spikes tomorrow. 2, they got him for under $30 million annually. They got him with no out clause. There's a no trade clause in there as well. So that means that the Phillies got him for $25.3 million annually, which is not the highest paid in baseball annually. that still belongs to Giancarlo Stanton. That's not the highest. And they got him for 13 years, locked up. He can't opt out. He can't go anywhere. It's an untradeable contract. The Phillies have their man for 13 years. Now, here's the thing. Come October, at the end of the season, at the end of his first season, he's going to turn 27. So he's 26 right now. That means he's going to be 39 going into 40 by the time his contract is up. And we know, coming from athletic terms, that Father Time is unbeaten. Well, I'll say this. Father Time has one loss, and that's he hasn't figured out how to age Tom Brady yet. So Father Time is 7 billion to 1. My odds are on Father Time, and in baseball, and in other sports. We're watching LeBron James right now at 36. He seems to be hitting the wall. His team is terrible. They're 3 games out of first place. And we're throwing $330 million at a guy whose production not only waned, but he lost 70 points off his batting average in a contract year. His WAR, wins above replacement, last season was 1.3. So if you're an 81 team with him, and if he would play all 162, which he played like 150. So pretty much he played all year. You're an 82 team. How much did the Nationals actually lose? None. Nothing really. If you want to think about it in wins above replacement, they lost 1 game. That's all Bryce Harper was worth last year, was 1.3 games. So, the Phillies, you could say from last year's production, if you add that to this year, are only making up 1.3 games for $330 million over the next 13 years. And when the game gets tight, when the chips are on the line, does the best player always show up? No. And Bryce Harper, in 19 postseason games, only has 211. He bats 211 in the postseason in 19 games. A little over 1 for 5. You get roughly 4 at-bats a game. That means he's getting a hit in every 2. 1 hit in every 2. That's not getting it done. 5 homers in 19 postseason games. That's 1 homer in just about every 4. 10 RBIs. That's 1 RBI every 2 games. So, and the best indicator of future success is past success. So if we're looking at the fact that a man is going 1 for 5 in the postseason and has never made it out of the NLDS and has had pitchers like Steven Strasburg, Max Scherzer, there is something incredibly wrong that I'm missing here. But then as I look more and more into it, the Phillies got kind of a team-friendly deal with the fact that it's so long with the money spread out. It's not all lump summed together to where it'll cost the Phillies, and the Phillies still have a lot of money to work with. This is the amazing thing. They locked up Aaron Nola, because if they didn't have Aaron Nola, I would say forget it. There's no reason to even try it, because Aaron Nola, pitching every 5th day, is going to give you 17 wins a season, 20 wins a season. He is a possible 20-game winner. Finished 3rd in the Cy Young. And Jacob deGrom becomes a free agent next year. And they have all this money to work with. So the future could be looking very bright. The only thing I say is the fact that the Phillies have outfield problems. This Bryce Harper signing does not help them in the outfield. It does not help them on defense. He is a below average to poor outfielder. He is a below average to poor. He's a strikeout casualty. He's a person who gives you high offensive production but low defensive production. And we know this in all sports. Offense wins you games, defense wins you championships. This is why what the Phillies did is they spent $330 million on a first round out. I'd love to hear your comments on this, guys. I really would. Because maybe I'm making too much of this. Maybe he, swells up, becomes a Barry Bonds, and ends up hitting 50 home runs. 60, 70. The potential's there. He's in a hitter-friendly stadium. I like it. I like this move better than I like Machado going to San Diego after Machado spent his entire career in Baltimore, which is a very hitter-friendly ballpark. And then he's going to go to San Diego, where the ball just doesn't fly. So his numbers are going to go down drastically just because he's in San Diego. But San Diego threw him, was the first one to say, here's all the money you want. Come, lay down on the beaches and enjoy yourself. I don't know, I've never been to San Diego. Are there beaches there? I think there is. But that's not the case. So Machado's production numbers are going to go down just because of the ballpark he's in. But where Bryce Harper comes in is when the chips are down. He just has not shown up. And if he doesn't start to, then the Phillies are never going to get anywhere. And I like Arrieta. I like Aaron Nola. I just don't buy in the fact of paying somebody $330 million. No, I don't think anybody's worth $330 million. Other than Jesus Christ. I mean, and the biggest winner in all of this is Mike Trout. When he becomes a free agent, he's going to say, okay, $30 million a year, that's where we're going to start. And we know giving players this kind of money does not lead to success. It doesn't lead to championships. Look at the NFL. The top 13 quarterbacks have the top 13 paid quarterbacks have a grand total of 7 Super Bowls. 7. Tom Brady has 6 by himself. Why? Because Tom Brady will take that team deal. He will allow the Patriots to build around him, not just say, this is the money. Give me all the money you got. The Matthew Staffords, the Kirk Cousins, the Matt Ryans. And I mean, look at the team Aaron Rodgers has. They're not going anywhere for a while. Sorry, Packers fans, but it's not going to happen. And it's the same thing now with the Padres. Then the Padres weren't going anywhere anyway. So let's just write that off now. But the Phillies, they were looking bright. They were looking up and coming. And maybe they still are. But if recent history tells us it's not going anywhere anytime soon. Okay, guys, thank you very much for watching. I'm Ken Rayder, and I'm signing out.